Okay, we'll call our meeting to order at 7 p.m. Everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I've taken attendance. Everyone who is supposed to be here is here. I've also distributed the meeting minutes from our last meeting on August 11th, 2025. I'll accept a motion how the board would like to move forward with those.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the August 11th meeting.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, the meeting minutes are approved. Next is public expression. I remind everyone this is an opportunity for individuals to comment on matters involving Newport other than those pertinent to any public hearings that day. The time reserved for public expression is not a question and answer period. If you need to address a specific situation and do not feel comfortable speaking at the meeting, you may contact me directly. Speakers will be limited to 2 minutes, then we'll do our monthly reports. Does anyone like to say anything? Sir, go ahead.
Just a quick question. Does the town have a pickup at the trade pickup type of thing?
We do. It's usually in July of each year.
Okay, so it would be the village that would do the 19th. Pardon?
We're doing that on the 19th.
On the 19th of this month.
Yes.
Great.
Okay. Would anyone else like to speak in public expression? Okay, if not, I will close that and we'll move to our monthly reports. I will go first. So I've been meeting with town residents during my office hours, which are on Mondays from 2:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. I encourage people to schedule an appointment online or just walk in if you'd like to talk with me about something. I have a report on the Comprehensive Plan Committee. We did not meet this month due to ongoing delays with the engineer and the town attorney who has been out on vacation. The committee will meet when our remaining things that we need for that, which is the facilities condition assessment and the town attorney's review of the seeker documents. When those are done, we'll meet. I also would like to announce that the New York State Archives awarded the Town of Newport $18,930 in funding from the Local Government Records Management Improvement Fund. This provides grants to local governments to assist them in establishing records management programs or developing new program components. The grant we were awarded will enable the town to purchase record storage materials and hire an outside records management consultant to complete objectives through June of next year, June 2026. These will be overseen by the Office of the Town Clerk's Records Management Officer. So the consultant will do a series of things. The first is complete an electronic inventory of all of our inactive and active records held by the town, as well as place inactive records in labeled record storage containers to make sure they're all stored as they should be. They'll also develop an office retention schedule for each town department included in the inventory. They will conduct a needs assessment and prepare a written report of needs to identify needs for storage of inactive records, record series and quantity of records, which are candidates for electronic document conversion in the future. They'll assess needs related to active records that the town has, as well as needs for archival or historical records. They'll help us develop a written records management plan for the development of the shared records management program, defining both short-term and long-term goals we have for our records program and identify needs for accomplishing each goal. They'll also help us develop a records management policy and procedure manual that provides step-by-step instructions for the management of inactive records, from creation of those records to when the town is authorized and able to dispose of those records. So all of this will be funded with the grant we received at no additional expense to town taxpayers. We applied for this grant in March of this year. I also would like to report that the Herkimer County Supervisors Association met on August 28th of 2025. We talked about a few different things that are ongoing issues prevalent across the towns in Herkimer County. And we also proposed and approved a website for the association to increase its transparency and accessibility to those who are unable to go to the meetings. I've received The 2026 budget estimates from most of the department heads at this point, I'm currently working on developing the town's 2026 tentative budget. We'll have that submitted to the town clerk in accordance with the budget calendar that you all passed in January. And we'll take a look at it at our next meeting. So we have 4 discussions within my report to do today. The first one is a discussion with the Village of Newport about a project proposal collaboration they have with us. So I think Mayor Mark Butler is here, so I'll let him talk to you guys about what that is.
Well, thank you very much, Supervisor Lowell. I do have with me Rich Foster, the village clerk. He's going to correct me on any misstatements I might make. I think I need to give you a little bit of history. First of all, I approached your supervisor several weeks ago and suggested that we need your involvement with a water project that we're doing on Old State Road, on a portion of the road that is in the town, not in the village. Some years ago, someone built or installed a private water line there, and the residents there have been receiving water through that line. It is village water, but the pipes, none of the maintenance is ours, and in our view is not our responsibility. As this system has aged, the conditions have got worse. We've had multiple leaks. We have in the past paid for those repairs, which can go up to $1,000 and more for these leaks. The problem is, and the water is metered into the home, but we take no responsibility for the pipe that delivers it. There is an additional problem that if a leak occurs, there is really actually no incentive for the homeowner to repair it, because if it's not going through the meter, they're not paying for it. So we've had instances where there have been leaks in the line and they just let the leaks continue on, and that affects our village's water supply. So with all those conditions, the county, as you know, was going to redo West Street, Old State Road. We made an arrangement with them to put in a new water line for West Street. It is the last street in the village to get a new water line. The water line, the contractual agreement we had with the county was that they would take the water line to the village limit. So we were faced with a decision. We had the road dug up, we had a contractor there. We proposed to the town several years ago, or a few years ago, to create a water district there to provide water for these residents out there. I think the estimates came back 250,000, 275,000. Certainly not cost effective for the town. The new agreement we have with this contractor is slightly over $100,000. We feel as an emergency condition, we needed to extend that water line to supply these homeowners out there. I believe it's an ethical and moral imperative, because they bought these houses, they built these houses believing they were being supplied with water, and that wasn't quite the truth of it. So all of these factors came together during this project. We decided to proceed with putting in a new 6-inch water line from the village limit almost to the road up there. And that work will be done within a few weeks. In fact, I think some people are starting to be hooked up now. So we are in the position of facing a bill of $100,000 because we believe it was the right thing to do to provide that water for these folks. In addition to that, I will tell you that there is a business out there who has been on a well that would like to connect into the village system as well. We would take over the maintenance. We would be responsible. We're just asking for a financial contribution from the town. We will take responsibility after that. It will be considered an extension of the village water line. We requested from the supervisor $20,000. He said he would bring it up at your last meeting. I got the minutes. I did not know a very lengthy discussion about the issue, no questions, and I did not see that there was any conclusion to what little there was about it. The project is nearing completion. The bills will be coming due shortly, so we have to make some decisions in the village. So I am here to ask you if the town would consider being a part of this project for $20,000. We will pay the balance of it from the village, from various accounts that exist. But we do need we can't go on kicking the can down the road. We'll think about it, we'll consider it, we'll look into it. The bills are going to be coming due, but we have to make these arrangements immediately. So I want to lay that before you and ask if you would consider making a decision on this issue. I think it's very important.
Okay, does anyone on the board have any questions for Mayor Butler?
How many people, Mark, are you looking at? Or houses, I guess?
6 households?
6, yes.
6 households.
And that brings you up to, Honey Hill, we're talking about.
Yeah,
It goes over as far as Honey Hill goes.
It stops short of Honey Hill. I don't think the gentleman on the corner is hooked into that
No.
system. He has a well.
It goes almost to Honey Hill.
Yeah. So we're talking, I think we're talking about basically 6 homeowners plus now the business that would like to come online as well. So that would be 7 subscribers.
The only question I have is, are the funds available without significantly impacting our budget? And if not, how much is?
It would depend if this is an allowable expense under our highway DB budget for road maintenance or not. That if that situation were to be true, then the town does have the funds to do that. If not, I don't see another fund that could come from.
So in other words, what you're saying is if it's permissible to expend out of the highway funds for that type of a project, the funds are available. If not, if the state says, no, you can't spend from that account for that type of work, then we don't have the funds.
As
Basically, that's
my
what you're
current
saying.
understanding, yes. The board could use potentially reserve money if you did a budget adjustment or a budget amendment, but
Well, the village will have to use reserve money, so we haven't budgeted for this either. But this project's being done now, we have to make a decision.
Well, the other thing is I don't want to run a deficit. I mean, if the funds are available through the highway fund,
if it's a permissible expense through the highway fund, then yes. If not,
but
I
then,
would have to
you know,
check.
then I'm gonna make a recommendation that the village, that the town contribute $20,000 toward the project, provided the funds that are currently in the highway fund are acceptable to transfer to that type of a project.
This is road work.
Well, the state's funny. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
well, you,
Tell me.
you have more experience than I do with the state, but I'm sure you being the treasurer, you pretty well know the state's pretty funny about what they do. I mean, yeah, it's a road project, it's part of the highway, and you would think, yeah, that's not a problem, but you don't know what the state. And all I'm saying is if the state says we can use that money,
Well, that just
then,
makes
you know,
it easier. but
it
we-
benefits 6 people, and if I had to
Well,
drill a
6
well,
households.
with 6,000. If I had to drill a well, it's gonna cost me $20,000 to drill a
Exactly
well.
right.
If I could find a well driller,
Right,
because people can't find them anymore.
that's
You
right.
know,
Yeah.
they're hard to find. Now, that's the best I can recommend.
Well,
Okay, is there any discussion with the board about that? We have a motion.
there isn't a reserve, we're gonna be drawing a lot of money out of various reserve funds that we have.
We don't have a reserve fund that's designated for this kind of project. So if we were to use the town's like unallocated, unexpended balance, I believe the town would have to do a budget amendment for that. But we have a reserve, a capital improvement reserve, we have a bridge repair reserve, and then we have the vehicle replacement revenue fund that we have. I don't know that either of those would do that. But if the DB line for road maintenance were to be a permissible expense, if we could use that for this, the town has only spent about 1,500 out of 40,000 for that for this year.
Well, then I don't have a problem with that. It's the only thing we gotta do is find out if the funds are.
I understand.
That's the only thing. But,
So,
you know, I
so
still,
once everything is done, then the village has complete control.
We
over
will
the-
be responsible for that line, maintenance, making sure it's.
To the homes too? To the homes?
No.
No, the
That's
homeowner.
always been, it's the
Oh, okay.
homeowners,
From the curb box.
from the curb box to their house, they're responsible for the line.
Everybody in the village also,
Yes,
yes.
Okay.
And, when is, the job gonna be completed?
I talked with the engineer this afternoon. As some of you may know, they ran into some real difficulty. That part of the village is built on a solid rock ledge. They had to pound through that. That held them up a great deal. When you got out to the other end, out toward Honey Hill Road, there were springs and there was water that they had to pump out. They encountered some difficulties, but I think they're on top of it now. They have an estimate by the third week of September. The engineer from Barton and Judas that I spoke to thinks that's a little optimistic. I think we'll be into at least early October. It's all up in the air.
Of these, houses, how many are getting water now with the new line?
Six.
No,
6
all- including the village, everybody's hooked up?
They have started hooking up.
Right, there's a temporary line in there now for the ones that aren't hooked up on a new line.
And how many are there?
Well, whatever, I mean, I can't.
I think
tell
there are
you,
about 12 homes
whoever's
on
on
West Street.
inside the village, most of it,
Getting these up.
So there's
is
like,
on a temporary line.
there's 12 on a temporary line at this point.
Well, I don't know exactly if it's 12 or 6.
We don't get a daily update. As I have driven up that street, it seems to me there has been some work doing some attachments, and I think we have some vouchers from John Rowe, that he has hooked up some of the homeowners. So that work is currently underway.
That's
And when
in the
that's
village?
done, then you get onto the road project.
Right.
We
Hooked
know
up
there's
in the
2
village?
anyways, hooked up outside.
Hooked up in the village, John Rowe, in the village?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I believe so. They've been working on the ones outside too, but I don't know if they're actually hooked up there. They've got whole
I've seen, yeah, I've
holes and
seen it,
ground,
yeah.
and I don't know if there's.
As long as it's somewhere next week, I say give them the money.
Have you
Well, we
talked
can.
with,
We can.
have you talked with the homeowners outside the village about their water options? I mean, have you addressed the village,
Well,
the people?
we gave them notices about what we were planning on doing. This issue has been going on for years. These discussions have been ongoing.
I mean, what do they say now? I mean, you
Well, I
you
think,
say, we're gonna hook you up, we're not gonna hook you up. I mean,
well, if we don't hook them up, they've got to drill a well for
Right.
$20,000. I don't think anybody would be interested in that. So
So
I'm pretty
has
confident that they'll be happy to have that
I-
and have it as a dependable
I
source.
can't imagine anybody that would opt to drill a well versus having municipal water.
Right. I mean, some have already drilled wells. The two at the far end, I think, are both on wells, but that was their option.
have you made any discussion with the homeowners that are outside the village about helping pay for this line going up through? Made any deals with them or anything?
Well, we have discussed, the business has offered to help with some of the costs.
The other homeowners?
We haven't discussed that with the homeowners.
You haven't?
No.
Why not?
Well, I don't know if it's appropriate. Do we, when we place a water line within the village, do we knock on people's doors with a coffee can and say, you want to?
Well, you're gonna shut them off if they don't get it. I mean, you're gonna shut them off if they don't, outside the village, right?
In the past, they have not had any interest in contributing to any of the repairs.
Well, if you
Yeah,
tell them they're
not
gonna
even
have
the
to drill
repairs
a
to
well,
the
if
leaks.
they're gonna have to drill a well, they might have more interest.
Who's been repairing the lines going to those 6 houses?
Well, it's under the village's, advisory, okay, and they contract somebody else to, do the digging, whatever, and John Rowe has been doing that.
John Rowe frequently is the one that does
And the
it.
village has been paying for that,
They've been paying the bill.
for those 6 houses.
For the last 10 years that I know of.
And that was started long before. That was one of the things that we determined we were going to stop doing. We had a resolution drafted that those costs were now on homeowner, even for the repairs to the main line. We didn't pull the trigger on that.
There's some things that the village has to do, yeah. Okay, I mean, this is an old these laws and everything they got are 1955 and some even beyond that, okay? and
What's changed since then?
What's that? What changed
What's
since?
changed since then?
In terms of the water system, not a great deal.
Okay, the only question I have is, could you talk a little bit about, you said this outside of the village line is about 108,000, right?
104,000.
104,000.
104,000.
Would you talk about how that fits into the village's larger expenses for the project as a whole, and what kind of financial situation you guys are in?
We have a contract with through the county. It's in addition to the road project is actually the county's project. So we contracted with them to dig a deeper trench and have the water line. In so doing, that's costing us, I think the estimate's about 330,000.
47,000.
And we have bonded for that amount. And it is the last water line in the village that needs replacing. They've done periodic replacements over the years, and West Street is the last street to get those. So again, we felt it was incumbent on us. It's been on the books for 2 or 3 years. And when the county undertook this project, we thought, man, this is a great opportunity. We saved thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars by coupling with them rather than going over ourselves, digging up the road, digging the ditches, pounding through the stone. It would cost us more money than either you or we could afford. So this was an opportunity, and we felt we had to grab it.
Okay. Well, we have a motion from Councilmember Brucker. Is there a second for that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Right.
Aye. Those opposed?
Me.
Okay. So we have 4 ayes, 1 nay.
Nay.
I'll look into it with
All
our
right,
town attorney tomorrow.
let
I'll
us
reach
know.
out to you,
Okay.
okay?
All right, and we will need to talk about the other arrangement, the playground, work that out, okay? Well, I thank you for your time. Appreciate your help with this. I think it's important. I think those people need it, and I think we have an obligation to provide it.
Okay, thank you, Mayor
Okay,
Butler.
thank you. I'll get out of your hair.
Thank
I'll
you.
take it with me, unless you want to stay.
No, I'm.
No, you can't,
I'm
you
gonna walk
gotta go.
home. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Here.
Hi, my friend. My friend, are you my friend now? I told you.
Okay, the next discussion we're having under my report is the town code codification plan. We received, which is the process we're doing to review all of our laws and develop potentially new laws to see if those are needed. So we received the editorial and legal analysis, which is the second phase. Basically, this is general code, the company we're working with, going through and adding questions to all of the laws that we currently have. You all have a document about the guidelines for this phase. It says general code at the top, but I'm gonna briefly explain it to you and everyone else. This is the second of 4 major milestones for our project. It's the editorial and legal analysis, like I said, and it contains specific questions compiled by general code while reviewing the town's different legislation that we currently have on file. For clarity, consistency, accuracy, and compliance with state law. The goal of it is to help guide the town to make decisions about any revisions to our laws in the context of all of them looking together. So this includes things ranging from the town's zoning ordinance to the town's dog control laws to the recent laws that we passed about tax exemptions. So we will use something called code review during the review process, which is where all the questions are. It's an online secure environment that has all the questions. The software enables us to go through and answer the questions and communicate with the general code staff. So it provides a digital manuscript, which is a list of all the laws in it, as well as questions. So it includes different things like a disposition list, which is the legislation that we have shared with them, which is all of our laws dating back to 1970. It contains sample legislation for things the town should consider moving forward. That's something we'll be looking into in the coming months, as we have been doing with different things. There's a few things the state requires that we still do not have. So the review site is is private and will require you to log in with a password. I will send an email to your town emails with that information. If you would prefer not to do the online environment, we're also going to be talking about this at our next 2 meetings and going over everything. But if you can use the computer, that would be helpful because you'll be able to read it in advance and go through and see if you have any things in our different laws that you have questions about. And once we do that, we'll do that over October to November, like I said. Once we complete it, we'll share that our answers and decisions that we made to their questions with the town attorney for him to look at. There's also a few things I have looked at the questions already. There's a few Supreme Court cases cited in reference to some of our zoning laws. So I think Evan, the attorney, will have to take a look at that. But the self-set deadline to finish this stage and answer all of the questions they have, is about 64, is December 15th, 2025. So if we remain on schedule, you'll have looked at it online after this meeting. We'll talk about it in October, November, and then Evan will take a look at it after November, and you'll vote on sending it back to General Code at our December meeting. So we're currently on schedule to meet that. I've already looked at some of the questions. You all will be able to do that too. But that's about it for that. Does anyone have any questions? I know it might be a little complex.
Could we come in, I know you're in here on Mondays, if you weren't busy, could you help us get on?
Yeah, I can.
I could
computers in
like
here
that too.
and look at
Yeah. I can help you. And if you can rent out one of the, if you don't have a computer, you can rent out a computer and sign it out briefly.
It's just annoying to do it on the phone.
Yeah. So I can help you sign in, but I can print it out too at our meeting. It's just very long. I'd like to save some paper.
Sure.
Okay. Any other questions about that? All right. Next, the employee handbook. I know you all had a chance, hopefully, to look at that since last time. Evan is still working on reviewing that. He was on vacation until September 2nd. So we will likely consider voting on that next time. But I wanted to ask if you had any thoughts or questions since last time. If there was anything that concerned you or anything you thought was good in the handbook.
Truthfully, I don't remember everything that was in that, but in the, I guess, I don't know if this is the right time to bring it up. If you were working for the highway department, and I know when Jason was out of it, he had certain days that he gave us holidays. He had certain, I guess you would say, sick leave and things like that. Is that going to be in the handbook? Is it gonna be that fussy? Is it gonna come right down to little things like that?
Yeah, it does talk about those things.
Okay.
So for holidays, it says the full-time town employees and intermediate employees, which is like an in-between there, get holidays off as set by the town board. At the beginning of each year, we have a resolution declaring town holidays. So when you do that, those will be the holidays that full-time
Okay.
people get off.
So that's how this holidays will be set up.
So the goal of it is we've had some unwritten policies about these things. The goal is to have them reviewed, written down, and adopted by you guys. So any other questions or comments about that? Okay, if not, we'll look at that again at our next meeting. And then Brendan is supposed to have sent us our facilities condition assessment report, but I did not receive that. So we will talk about that next time. I did give the financial report and bank statements to you all to review. I'll accept a motion and how you'd like to proceed with that.
I'll make a motion that we accept the financial statements as they are.
Is there a second?
I'll second
All those in favor?
it.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay, the financial statements are accepted. Next is the dog control report. You received 2 calls, I believe. If you'd like to see those, they'll be available on the town website. The assessor didn't send in a report, but he did send us the report he has to send us each year for the budget. That I will attach that to the tentative budget that you all look at our next meeting. Codes and zoning enforcement. Let's see that. Matt Snyder's not here today, but he said he did issue 2 permits and inspections on permits issued in previous months, moved at a pace with contractor needs. He said he received 2 complaints in the town about neighbors' chickens disturbing homeowners. He said in researching both cases, both of the properties fall in ag zoning, and there are no local ordinance or laws currently in effect to prohibit this activity. He also said that he received his final certificate as codes officer in New York State and provided a copy to me. He included an image in his report for you all to see. If you'd like to see that report, it will be on the town website at a later time. The highway superintendent submitted a verbal report to me. The work on the salt shed has begun. They've started doing that as of today. So they're digging the line, electrical wire line behind us, and they're going to connect that to the salt shed. Jamie did want you all to consider a small addition to the project, which is something you will vote on later in the meeting. Specifically adding an outlet within, a waterproof outlet within the salt shed so they can plug in the things in there, and then an outside light. I'll talk about it in more detail when we get to that. And then also Jamie and I are working on the road improvement plan. I talked to you about that last time. I have a list of all the town roads and their specs. Jamie and I are going to go around and survey all the roads. Cornell University gave us the software to estimate a budget for the repairs after we do that. So you should have that at our next meeting. It's going well. Any questions about what's going on with the highway department? Okay, we didn't receive a report from the historian. We did receive one from Marie, the town clerk. She talked about the fees that were collected by her office in last month. That will be on the website if you would like to look at that. The planning board chair did submit a report. She said the planning board is talking about reviewing a subdivision law for us to potentially review in the future. The town currently doesn't have a law on subdivisions of land, and it's something we're supposed to set local procedures for. Colleen also said that I'm going to go to the next planning board meeting to talk to them about the ongoing situation with chickens going into neighbors' yards. So I will talk to Colleen about that issue.
I'm sorry, talk about what?
There's been issues in some properties across town of chickens of one property owner wandering and perhaps traversing onto the land of others. So there's currently not a lot of solutions we can do because there's no local rules about that. But I'll talk to Colleen.
You won't have to worry about it.
Somebody told the chickens the grass is greener on the other side.
So I'll talk to Colleen about that. And then the zoning board of appeals chair submitted a report that there is no monthly activity. But did you have anything else you wanted to add, Tiffany?
I want to come to that meeting with chickens. Not that I don't have a problem with chickens at all, but I've been getting a lot of calls, so.
So we'll talk about it.
From the same group or,
Yeah.
okay, because I don't know, there is another group. I've received a complaint from up on Rose Valley Road. Has that group complained on Rose Valley Road too? Okay.
I think Matt would know, but I think we've received a few different complaints about it. So we'll see. All right, that's all the reports. We don't have any public hearings today, or we do have old business. So I'll scroll down. So old business is resolution 2025-98. We tabled this last time. This is the town abrasive road sand bid award. I did check, or Marie checked with them, and the documents that they submitted were correct. It was in the right units. So weekly sand and gravel was the lowest of the two bids.
So weekly was what, 9 something a cubic yard?
9,
Do you have that?
The
it
other
was
one
$9.
I know.
Yeah, the other one was what, 12.75?
Yes.
The cubic
I just have a
yard
comment.
is the same as
Does
the,
Weekly have scales to weigh this? I know Rumbles do. They have scales to weigh it, or Weekly just eyeballing in the bucket.
That's why they estimated it at cubic yards, not tons.
Okay. So.
So
Weekly
they're
go
both,
more, they go
they're
less.
both the same. I mean, it's not like one's tons and the other one's
cubic
cubic
yard
yards.
is the same.
Both
as
of the
a yard.
estimates are cubic yards, because that's
He
the
meant
question
cubic yard.
that I think Patty and I
He wrote
had.
yard, but he meant
They're not
cubic
in
yard.
weight.
Oh,
Or one
No,
weight.
it's not being weighed, it's just we wanted to make sure that
Right.
they understood they were bidding the same
quantity.
amount.
the same amount, which is cubic yards. Well, then if weekly's the lowest, then, there's an obligation according to the state regulations that we take the lowest bid.
Unless
There
there's some
we go.
I don't,
other
I make a recommendation that we accept the weekly's bid of $9 and whatever cents per cubic yard.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay, resolution 2025-98 has a recommendation from Councilmember Brucker to amend it to include the weekly sand and gravel as the bid awardee. Does someone want to make a motion to adopt the resolution as amended?
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution as amended.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, resolution 2025-98 is approved as amended. Okay, next is resolution 2025-102. This is authorization to sign the Newport Cemetery contract. So earlier in the year, we did the contract for Pine Grove Cemetery. So this is doing the same for the Newport Cemetery. It's, I'll go through it briefly.
I got a question on this one. If you look at it where it says program description, the very last sentence, it makes mention, each bill shall consist of a summary of services rendered to Pine Grove Cemetery.
Very good catch, John. Yeah, we'll have to amend that and it should say
Oh, okay.
Newport
I thought,
Cemetery.
I was wondering, because I said, wait a second.
Yeah.
Okay, because we gave the same amount. If we gave the same amount to Pine Grove as we did to,
Oh, I thought we were getting, it didn't matter to me. I was just happy to use something, honestly.
well, no, but I'm just saying, you already got the contract or the agreement.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Okay, that's all. Okay,
okay, thanks.
all right, not a problem. Just remove that sentence and I'm perfectly satisfied with it.
Okay.
I'll make the motion to the Town of Newport. Approve the $2,500 a year to Newport Cemetery and remove in the writing Pine Grove Cemetery to say Newport Cemetery.
Okay, is there a second for that?
Also,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay, that resolution is amended, so if someone would like to make a motion to adopt it as amended, you can do that.
I'll make a motion, we adopt resolution 2025-102 as amended.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second
All
that.
those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, resolution 2025-102 is adopted as amended. Okay, next is resolution 2025-103. This is authorization to sign the local government records management improvement fund grant project for the consultant services contract. This is for the grant that we received from the New York Archives. It's a contract that's very similar to the one we did when we did the community profile. It has an exhibit at the end with the scope of services. It's set at an amount not to exceed $18,750, which is the grant is giving us the funding to do that. And it clearly states different things about if issues arise, those are to be venued in Herkimer County Supreme Court, as well as references to the grant funding.
I'll make a motion, we approve resolution 2025-103.
Is there a second?
Yes, I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Aye. Okay, that resolution is approved. Next is resolution 2025-104. This is a salt slash sand shed improvement project, floodlights in 20A outlet. So like I said, you all have copies of the quote for this. I talked to our town attorney. My question for him was whether or not the town could add this on after going through the bidding process or not. The town attorney has advised us that we can do that. So you are able to approve this resolution if you would like to. It doesn't mean you have to. But Jamie came to talk with me today, and he was talking with the highway guys, and they would like additional floodlights towards the front of the salt shed, and then the ability to have a waterproof electrical wire inside there. For I think the example they gave me is if they needed to plug in the loader or store it in there for whatever reason, they think it would be helpful. So if you all wanted to do this, it would be an additional cost of $3,000.
32, 28, 67.
Yes, that's right, Curtis. So that's how much it would cost. That would come, just like the rest of this project is coming out of the town's capital improvement project revenue reserve for the salt and sand shed. So it wouldn't impact our
Wait a
budget.
second, I have a question on this now. If I'm not mistaken, we approved 30,000 and whatever, I'm not gonna, the dollar amount on the repair of the building. And in addition to that, we also approved another $30,000 to run the electrical service that should have been run under the original contract. Correct me if I'm mistaken. This is an additional 3228 to that 30,000.
Yeah, so what the one you guys approved last time is to repair the salt shed and then run the electrical wire over there. And I did look into that. It's not that it was required under the contract. The engineer prepared plans for you all to do that. For whatever reason, it looks like the town decided not to do it.
Okay.
So this is
So
using.
the total cost for running the wire and installing what lighting and outlets that they want is gonna actually be somewhere in the range of $32,228.67.
Yeah, the original plan runs the wire over there and has a light in like the middle of the salt shed.
Right.
The highway department says they also need
Right.
lights closer and then an outlet to plug things in.
No, I understand that. All right, I make a motion that we approve resolution 2025-104 in the amount of $3,228.67.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay, resolution.
That's like the bare minimum, you know?
Resolution 2025-104 will be approved. You guys will see a future resolution about this in the future when it's time to pay, authorizing the expenditure from the reserve fund.
Mhm.
So just for context. Okay, next is resolution 2025-105. This is reappointment of the town assessor. I am proposing that we reappoint Daniel Maxwell for the full term. I think Dan has done a good job. For those of you who remember back to when we first appointed him, I voted no on that one. I am willing to say I was wrong about that. Dan has done a very good job.
Well, you're a real man for admitting it, and I'll give you credit for that. And I make a motion that we approve resolution 2025-105, appointing Daniel Maxwell to the position of assessor to run for a period of time from this January 1st, 2025.
It's
to, I believe December 31st, October 1st, 2025 to September 30th, 2031, which is a term of 6 years.
Okay, is there a
I'll second
second? Okay, all those
Aye.
And he has done an excellent job, so.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any noes?
Well, we didn't
Any
have
abstentions?
discussion on it.
No, I
I
think
abstain.
Abstain.
he goes above and beyond, to be honest with
Okay,
you.
you have to say why for you.
He's willing to
Oh,
do the job.
I abstain because it's a family
He's
member.
willing to do the job.
Okay, thank you.
Keep him.
He's got, yeah, you're right. I never thought about that.
Okay, next is resolution 2025-106. This is authorization to pay the general fund bills.
Go ahead, Patty.
I make a motion that we adopt resolution 2025-106 to pay the general fund bills.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those
Okay.
opposed? Okay, resolution 2025-106 is approved. Next is resolution 2025-107. This is authorization to pay the highway fund bills.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2025-107, authorizing the payment of the highway fund bills in the amount of $2,994.40, covered by vouchers 71 through 74.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay, resolution 2025-107 is approved. Does the board have any announcements that they would like to make? Okay. If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll adjourn at 7:46 p.m. Thank you.
Aye,
Take care.
Melissa.
Bye.
Aye.
I'll just- I don't wanna leave it out.
Yeah. Anyway.